So first I'll install again the controller component here. I have like a Windows AD. AD is in one server we have, and the controller on the second machine I'm going to install. So in the virtual machine here, if you want to enter Control Alt Delete, we need to enter Control Alt Insert instead of Control Alt Delete on the virtual machine. Okay, and we need to make sure we have the VMware tools also have been installed. Okay, so VMware tools also is mandatory. We need to install the VMware tools. Yeah, so VMware tools have been installed. I'll mount Citrix ISO. Yeah, Citrix virtual apps and desktops ISO I have mounted and keep connected. Yeah. So I'm going to start the installer here. Okay, either virtual apps or virtual app and desktop, anything is fine. Yeah, virtual apps and desktops I have chosen here. And I'm going to choose here the delivery controller. So on the another mission, we need to install in the real-time multi-session OS. If you want to use MCS, it should be on the hypervisor. So accept the license agreement. And here components, delivery controller, studio, director, license server. In the real time, these core components not all recommended on the same server. License server should be separate, director should be separate. Studio, that is up to us. Even it can be also on the remote server. Then SQL server, Windows remote assistance also are getting installed. Yeah, say here minimum 5 GB is recommended by Citrix. Okay, and these all the firewall ports have been automatically, it's going to open. Otherwise, we can configure manually also. So automatically itself, even if the firewall is on also, those ports are getting opened. So now here we are getting installed all these components. Let's install all this. Then like we will configure the site. Okay, so for the first time we need to configure the site or form we can call. Okay, so for that we need a database also. So as of now, database in the real time, it should be a dedicated SQL server which should be clustered. But in our environment, we are going to use the database also on the same mission. SQL Express is going to install. SQL Express is going to install on the same mission. Yeah. Sirisha made you host. Can you share your screen? Please share your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these all the prerequisites are getting installed. It takes minimum 15 to 20 minutes in order to install all these components. That Shirija, I have shared the screen.
Yeah, Shrikant, but looks like it is stuck.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
disconnect and join the
yeah,
call again?
rejoin back.
Yeah,
Rejoin,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so now here we have installed controller. Now we need to configure the controller. Okay, so in this it is studio. If it is in the remote mission, we can enter the controller address. So we need to enter the controller address or new address. Okay, I think already you have configured, right?
The new
Yeah,
site?
yeah. No, no, this session. Okay, so
Huh.
now here we need to set up the site, either deliver desktops and applications, enable your users scroll down. So for the initial small scale setup, okay, deliver applications and desktops to your user site setup. We need to do this. And the second controller, if you have installed, then we need to use connect this delivery controller to existing site. Okay, for the first time, either this site setup or remote PC access. Choose this deliver applications and desktops. And the second controller, if you have, we need to connect that controller also to the existing site. But as of now, we are setting up the site also. In the site, we'll have one database and a group of controllers. Yeah, now here, while configuring the site, a fully configured production ready site or empty unconfigured site. Okay, say in the production, better to go with the initial option itself. Okay, so then give any site name, maybe Hyderabad site, like region wise, we are going to specify. Yeah, give Hyderabad. Yeah, next. So then databases, we have three types of databases. One is like
Site
site
data.
database, monitoring database, logging database. For all the site meta information is going to be stored here in this site. All directory information is going to be stored in the monitoring. All administrative events are going to be logged for the configuration logging. And for that, we are going to store in the logging database. Okay. Yeah. Next. So now here we are setting up the database manually. We are using means SQL Express also is going to install on the same mission itself. Yeah. Now license server. If you have the license server is there in the same mission, you specify. If it is in the another mission, then give that IP address and 27,000 is the port number for the license server. As of now, we are using license server also in the same mission. Okay. Yeah. Use this free license server trial. Yeah. Next. So now here we need to add a hypervisor. Okay, so we need to add the hypervisor. Either that's maybe Citrix hypervisor or SCVMM. Okay, so SCVMM is nothing but Hyper-V. Just like vCenter we have Hyper-V or VMware vSphere or cloud platforms, Citrix Cloud that is, or Azure, any of these. As of now, we don't have any hypervisor, hence choose no mission management. As of now, choose here no mission management.
No
Later
mission
we can add the host.
management.
No mission management. But without adding the host, as of now we can't create MCS related services. Yeah, choose that no mission management. Next. Yeah, app DNA, app publishing. If you want those features, we can enable. Okay, as of now, no, not required. Yeah, then finish that. As of now, it is going to use the local SQL Express itself, but there is no high availability, no scalability will come. For the production, better to go for a dedicated clustered high available SQL server we need to choose. Okay, so once the database have been configured, the site is getting configured now. Then once the site have been configured, we can perform the administrative activities.
Can we configure multiple sites here, Srikant?
Multiple sites means in one controller not possible. Okay, so even using Netscaler, we can do the load balancing between multiple sites also.
Okay.
In the site, again, they're implementing the concept of zones. Okay, say it takes another 4 to 5 minutes in order to set up this site. Takes minimum 4 to 5 minutes.
So the next week also, are we going to do this administrative task in on-prem, Srikant? And then coming week will be doing cloud or
Come again?
the next week, coming week, are we going to do administrative task for on-prem and then are we moving to
Yeah,
cloud?
then we'll go to Azure and DAS also. But hypervisor, all these locally itself will set up.
Okay.
So now this is configuring the files, but in the real time, we need to set up on the remote database itself. For that, again, we required one more SQL server kind of database, and it uses Windows authentication.
A single sign-on.
Yeah, either Windows authentication or SQL server authentication is required.
Okay.
Yeah, so now here we got, here left side we got it right. Say need to spend minimum 2 to 3 hours in all this. Okay, very important is mission catalogs and delivery groups. So very important are mission catalogs and delivery
Delivering
groups. Okay, so as of now, mission catalogs, we need to publish the mission catalogs and delivery groups, applications. Say delivery groups or application groups, both we can give. Then policies, most of the Citrix policies we are going to manage, and logging. So what is the logging? All administrative events are going to be stored. If you perform, say, suppose assume we have 5 guys, 5 admins, assume someone created a new catalog, someone deleted a desktop group, someone deleted an application. Okay, so from where we can track it is from the administrative like events, all are going to be stored in the logging purpose. In the logging, all those details are going to be stored. Okay, yeah. So here all the administrators, suppose that is the reason we should be very, very careful. And if we perform some operation, definitely it would be tracked in this configuration logging. That is the reason for the site, we use configuration logging database. One is site database. If you create the catalogs, desktop groups, applications, all these are going to stored in the site database. Monitoring information, all those is going to store in the
monitoring database.
yeah. Say if the for the security purpose or for the performance, in order to optimize the performance, they kept site database very small database. Okay, if they keep all these also in the database, it will become bigger, large database. That is the reason they kept multiple databases and they made site database very small. That is one of the optimization decision. Okay, so come to administrators. Say in the real time, all doesn't use the same administrator. Okay, create an administrator here. Okay, in the AD, assume if you have a user, to that user we are going to give the admin permissions. Don't expect all the full admin permissions also we don't share to everyone. And scope also for all the objects also we don't get in the real time. You got it right? So now here, if you have 5 members in our team, all maybe not having full permission rights. Some of them have the basic, those kind of delegation of administration can be done through administrators. Say create an administrator here. Now that browse from Active Directory. Do you have any users in the AD?
I have created only one user.
Yeah, now create with your name one user, create in the AD. For that user, we'll give the permissions. Okay, so like this, don't expect everyone will do the same permissions. Same permissions we don't have, same authorizations we don't get. And we are going to define the scope also on which resources we are going to give the permissions also we will design here. Okay, so in the Active Directory, we'll create some users, and for those users, we'll delegate the permission. And to the studio, they will log in with that. And what are the authorizations they have? Only those permissions those users are getting. Yeah, in this Active Directory, go to users, create a new user here. Yeah, with your name also give.
Meaning, Shrikant, with your
No,
name.
no. Any name is fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now here while defining, we can create a scope also, but as of now, we are giving to all objects. Okay, that means on every resource like catalogs, controllers, application groups, in all the resources, we are getting permissions. But in some projects, we may have multiple catalogs and multiple delivery groups, like sales team is different and marketing team is different. Then I want to give only permission rights for you for only sales team only. I don't want to give the permissions for marketing team.
Marketing.
Like this, we can
Marketing.
define the scopes also. Yeah, come to next. As of now, give the all. Yeah, now next we need to choose the role like a full admin kind of things. Okay, in that scope of resources, so we need to choose
Select a scope.
either delivery group administrator, full administrator, help desk administrator. Okay, so read only kind of administrator. So these all the permissions we can choose. Read only can do only basic like L1 guys can give either read only or help desk kind of administrators. Mostly help desk administrators will get the access from the director because we'll have
Direct.
support guys for them will give these permissions. Full administrator can perform anything, but for everyone, don't give full administration. Delivery group administrator, he can create the catalogs or he can manage the catalogs, adding more missions. These all are the catalog level he can do. Okay, then host administrator mostly will have the hypervisor teams, right? Gen server, VMware, Azure. For those users, will give host permissions. Okay, then mission catalogs, creating the catalogs, all these. This is at the group level. Sales team, those level will give the permissions. As of now, give full admin for this.
And we can customize this
Yeah,
also.
that at the scope level, we can create our own roles and permissions also. Depends upon our specific conditions. Yeah, finish. Okay, so try to create the full, so spend more time in all this. Okay, then come to controllers. If we have the multiple controllers in the site, from here we can manage it. As of now, we have only one controller in this use case. Okay, if you have the multiple controllers, we can manage those multiple controllers from here. As of now, we have only one server. Okay, on the second server, what we need to do is join to existing site. We have the option, right? When we open the studio for the first time.
Yeah.
There we need to configure to not to create a new site, join to this existing site, we need to do it.
Okay.
Okay, then hosting at the time of configuration, we didn't added any hypervisor. We choose no mission yeah. So that's here we need to choose hosting also. So later we want to add any vSphere or Gen server, Citrix hypervisor, Azure. So these here we can add the hosting platform. So mostly every day we'll work in this itself in our job. Okay, so we need to add a hosting platform. Okay, on this add a connection and resources. Again, the same screen will come while configuration. What is the screen we got? At the time we chosen no mission connections. Now we are going to add a new connection. Yeah, now here the same screen. If you have Gen server, we need to add a Gen center or Gen server. But ESXi server is not supported. We need to add a vSphere itself. Okay, come to vSphere. Third option. Yeah, then here this path is the right https vmware.example.com/hdk. That means here this controller or maybe like virtual apps and desktops is going to communicate with the vSphere SDK and it's going to provision the resources. It's going to communicate with the SDK of the vSphere, and we need to add the username, password, and we can give one connection type. Okay, in the same way, come to Azure also. So if we want to add the Azure also, here we can add the Azure also, like we can manage Azure global infrastructure or government data centers like for US, China, Germany. Azure having government data centers also. Okay, so that's we need to configure. As of now, we don't have anything. At the time of MCS, we'll add our hypervisor here. Okay, as of now, cancel. Then we need to configure the licensing part. So in the licensing, what we need to do is we already have a configured a license server. You want to modify any licensing kind of thing. Okay, and the license administration can be done from license management console. Okay, so in the license management console, the port number is either 8082 or 8083 is the license server port number. Okay, from that we can administrate our license server also.
Shall I open this console, Shrikant?
Later we'll open that.
Okay.
So as of now, go through the license usage, all this we can get it. And licensing administrators also we can delegate. Licensing administrators also we can delegate the permissions, all this. We can add the license administrator, all these also we can add. So spend some time in all this. In the real time, we don't get opportunity to work in all this. In our environment, we can do all these things.
Part license thing is available, right, Shrikant?
Yeah, we can add a license server. Already, if it is in a third party, we can add that license server also from this. Come to that first mission, first tab, licensing overview. So here we can add the licenses, change the license server, so from one mission to another mission, or if you have any license edition version, we have enhanced it maybe to the newer version of edition. Those all we can manage from this. Okay.
So,
As
and
of now,
what?
we are keeping the local host. As of now, local host itself is our license server, right? If you want to change to another license server, here we need to configure.
Yeah,
Come
Shrikant,
again.
and on what basis will go with this license model? Like when will we go?
Here we have the different license models like user plus device, or maybe concurrent kind of licenses. I will explain that license models. That
Okay.
depends upon the purchase of the license, what we have purchased. According to that, we are going to get this. So which type of license we have purchased. Okay, so that's license model. As of now, we are getting user plus device model. That means that license is going to be binded to that specific user and device. If any of those changes, again, Citrix will assume it's a new license.
New license.
Okay, I'll explain. We have the different type of license models we have. Okay, but we are going to get 30 days license evaluation. We got it. Okay, if you don't want in the local mission, then you can change the license server from here. And the product edition also we can modify. Or if you purchase new licenses also, those also we can add. So we will contact with the Citrix license team, and from that we are going to manage all this. Citrix, we are going to contact the Citrix licensing team. From there we will manage all this. Then storefront also we will configure later. Storefront I'll explain. So now come to these zones. Say if you have the multiple locations, okay, So initially in the Citrix 6 and 6.5, we have the concept of a form. Form is global kind of thing. Okay, then each geographical region we can have the zones. So now that itself they're calling as site. But site also as of now they're keeping, but trying to implement zone kind of concept in this also. Previously we have form and zone. Now the site is nothing but here it's like a geographical. But in that also we can keep the zones. Okay, in each zone we'll have the delivery controller, catalogs, connections. Globally we can keep it. Okay, but Microsoft wise site terminology means it's region itself, but now they want to implement different zones also. So now here as of now we have only one zone technically. Even we can add multiple zones also.
Second, here cloud pod architecture also we are using.
Which one?
Cloud pod architecture.
Cloud?
Cloud pod architecture. Maybe the maybe on the VMware tool.
Okay. In VMware view we have?
Yeah, it's in desktop, inside desktop tools and creation after we use the cloud pod architecture. Its sites and zones and
No. This is how the site and data centers we are setting up. Okay, so for the multiple zones and multiple, say we have multiple branch offices, one in like Hyderabad, second one in US. We no need to set up because US data center we can't connect like Hyderabad users or vice versa. That is the reason in the nearest location itself we are keeping the catalogs and all these we are keeping controllers, all those. With this we will create the multiple
zones.
zones we are going to set up. This will come later part. Okay. So very important for today is we need to create the mission catalogs. Okay. Close the studio.
Okay.
Close the studio. Open that Citrix ISO itself. Spend minimum 2 to 3 hours every day, at least for 1 week on the studio part. Okay. So now on this, we are going to install now VDA on multi-session OS. In the real time, we shouldn't install on the same server. It should be another multi-session OS operating system. On top of that, we need to install like VMware tools, add to domain. Then we need to install this one. But for the resource constraints wise, we are installing this on the same server. Now from this, already Studio have been installed. Controller, Studio, Director, all these have been installed. Now we need to configure VDA and multi-session.
VDA.
Oh, yes, sir. But in the real time, that should be on the hypervisor VM itself. For practice purpose to understand the catalogs and missions, we are installing on the same server.
Port CP is fine, Shrikant, or shall I increase?
Yeah, as of now, it's fine because otherwise complete infrastructure will. Yeah, again, yeah. So now here already controller has been installed. If we click on this, we can add or remove the more components. Okay, so but we can install Citrix print server also, session recording, these are additional components. But we are installing virtual desktop agent for Windows multi-session OS. Technically, we can install on the controller itself. On AD, we can't install, or in the real time on the controller itself is also not recommended for the scalability wise. And if you want to use for MCS, that multi-session OS VM should be not on VMware workstation or not on physical server. It must be on hypervisor itself. It may be a VM in the vSphere or maybe Gen server or Gen center or Hyper-V itself.
I think it's again gone. I mean,
Yeah, it's completely stuck. But if you open third VM also, same thing may happen. We'll wait for some
yeah.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. So now here, create a master MCS image, but we can't use MCS image. Okay, because we don't have MCS, hypervisor is not there.
Disable.
And PVS also we are not using. Just that remote mission, we are connection brokering remotely we are doing, but not through RDP over ICA protocol. Okay, so that is the reason choose the third option. But this is when we install the newer version, maybe 2202 or 24047, maybe some changes may be there, that's adaptable. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so now choose the third option. Yeah, virtual desktop agent is installing. Optionally, we can use workspace app also.
So, yeah.
So that's nothing but the ICA client receiver. Okay, optionally we can have. Yeah, so choose that also. Next, but it may fail because it required some internet to download. Let's see. Yeah, next. Yeah, personalization app, these all not required as of now. Profile manager also not required. Yeah, go with the next options. And Citrix files also, file shares, all those also we can integrate. And here this is very, very important. Okay, so for the for our VDA, either single session or multi-session OS, while installing that, we need to specify the controller address. If the communication is not happening between your controller and VDA, most of the desktops or those apps would be goes to unregistered state. In the unregistered state, in order to solve this one, what we need to do is you need to configure the multiple controllers also in the real time. As of now, we have only one controller. And here, while configuring this, it is not accepting the IP address. We need to add the FQDN, fully qualified domain name of our controller. We need to add. Okay, get that host name and configure the fully domain qualified name of that controller. And if you have the multiple controllers, we need to add multiple controllers also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that we need to get that right symbol, add it. Add button.
Verify. Yeah.
Yeah, assume in our scenario we have DC2 also. Try to add second controller also, because don't add only one controller for the real time. If you have 4 controllers, all the 4 controllers also configure. All the 4 controllers also configure.
For that also we can add it.
Yeah, we need to add multiple controllers.
This one, Ashok,
Yeah,
location.
so that is browse and we can select those computers from the AD also.
Okay.
Otherwise, do it later is there, right? Citrix has given one policy. If you have hundreds of VDAs on multi-session OS or single session OS, on each server we no need to configure. We can apply through a policy also. Okay, but for the first time in the master image itself, better to configure this in a better way. But assume I have configured 4. Later we went to 6 controllers. Those 2 additional I need to add in thousands of servers. I no need to perform. We can apply through policy. We can apply. Okay, so just add DC2.Siri also, but don't add it. But it won't get a right symbol because that mission itself is not available. But if you have multiple, do we need to add the IP address or host name or FQDN? What we need to add here?
FQDN.
Yeah, FQDN. That mission is not available, right? That is the reason we are not getting that. Okay. Yeah, as of now, delete that. Clean up. Yeah. Yeah, back. Yeah.
Backspace.
Okay. Yeah, next, go to next. Yeah, Windows Remote Assistance also is recommended, and real-time, that is a virtual channel real-time audio support. Okay, if you want, you can go. Yeah, next. Yeah, these all the ports are 1494, 2598, all these are mandatory. In the controller, if you observe, controller didn't open 1494 because the client is going to connect using VDA, it is connecting, not on the controller part. Okay. Yeah, now enable all this. Yeah, connect to those. Install these components. So once this has been installed, we will configure catalogs and the user assignments through delivery groups.
Delivery group.
It takes another 5 minutes. And what is the mission catalog is collection of virtual or physical missions are managed as a single entity. We are going to create the mission catalogs. So mission catalogs may contain the virtual missions or physical missions. Either we can create manually, we can add them, or we can provision them through MCS or PBS. Okay, so then the pool of missions are called as mission catalogs. And delivery group, like we are going to assign them to the users or user groups. Okay, then entitlement, these missions have been assigned to these users, these groups. That kind of entitlement is going to happen through delivery group. So the mission creation, assignment, all these grouping, all these maintained by catalog, whereas assignment to the user, linking them to the users, controlling the user access, all these managed by delivery group. Okay, for the first, in order to create the delivery group, those missions should be existing in the catalogs itself. And the delivery groups can be created or entitled the desktops or applications, even from multiple catalogs also. Then users can connect to those applications, and the end user side, they will have the workspace app. Okay. Then we need to configure the storefront also. Then from the storefront, those are going to connect to those missions.
So in our lab, are we going to install storefront on this same
Already
machine?
storefront also is in this mission. We need to configure the site and the stores. And why we are installing workspace app on our VDA? Okay, that workspace app on the VDA also may access some applications on demand. Okay, in order to access, say suppose we first I'll give a clean desktop itself, assume. The desktop, whenever it want applications, those applications also can be delivered from Citrix itself. Means we are not installing those applications on the desktop.
Okay.
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 On demand, that desktop also is connecting to those applications whenever it required.
Whenever
That is the reason we are keeping
Okay.
the VDA on like on that
Workspace on the video.
yeah, workspace on the VDA also we can install. If you, what is the challenge by installing all the apps is that user may require 40 to 50 apps, but always you don't use all the 40 to 50 apps. Okay, then more resources have been consumed on the VM level, even on the hosting infrastructure level also.
Yeah. Whenever he wants to make a
Whenever we
connection, that
want,
time.
yeah, that is the best VDA solution we can give with the less resources.
Yeah.
Again, open that installer itself. It automatically it may open. And here we got one RDS, right? Okay, I think we are getting 120 days grace period we are getting. Okay, without having RDS license server also. So when RDS have been installed this, can you tell me the exact answer? With the controller is installed or VDA with the multi-session OS RDS has been installed here?
VDA with
With
multi-session.
the, with the
multi-session.
controller, no need of RDS. For the VDA and multi-session OS, it is using the RDS capabilities. And we need RDS CALs, client access licenses also. But Microsoft is giving 120 days grace period for the RDS.
Again, shall I click on this installer?
Yeah, click on that installer. Is it installed completely or it went to restart?
Yeah, I think it's not installed.
Yeah, it's completely not installed. Yeah. Automatically it opened that installer again.
Okay. Yeah.
So still it is installing. So our important component is virtual desktop agent in this. And I hope you understand, right? Why we need workspace app
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
That's we need to configure with our storefront on demand. Those applications also can be delivered to that.
Both comments we need to require virtual delivery agent and a Citrix
Yes,
workspace.
yes. But VDA is mandatory. Workspace app depends upon our request.
Depends upon, yeah, application.
So once this has been installed, we'll create the catalogs.
Okay.
Yeah, it is taking a lot of time.
Yeah.
So after this configuration, better to take a snapshot.
Okay.
After
Okay,
complete, right?
yeah, after completion this, better to take a snapshot. Then we can practice with the multiple ways. And in that lab, do you have VMware View, Shiva?
This time, okay, 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have VMware View,
Before
that
it's
also we can.
working, now maybe it's not working.
Okay.
Before we will try
Yeah, try
in
to
install
explore that. We
Active
can
Directory.
install
Yeah.
yeah, VMware View also. We can almost same terminology wise. Only process is almost same.
Yes. Yes.
The architecture components and terminology will be changes. It is taking a lot of time. And today with the Citrix cloud also try to log in the registration. Try to download the newer version if possible.
Yeah, okay, Shrikant.
With your company ID, try to use that email ID.
Citrix Cloud, Shrikant?
Yeah, Citrix that downloads all those we have, right? In that just register one account. With
Yeah,
Citrix cloud also try to register.
With the company,
Yeah, email ID, use the company email ID, nothing will happen.
okay,
You
okay,
can register with the company email ID. Then they will give more
Okay.
evaluation licenses instead of Gmail.
okay.
Okay, so keep it ready and take a snapshot. We'll create the catalogs, all those in the tomorrow session. Then.
Yeah, okay, Shrikant, sure.
Okay, sure. Meanwhile, everyone also set up the environment.
yeah,
Okay.
okay, Shrikant.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Shrikant.
Yeah, thanks.